People build their own way and they keep going even harder. Like they just stay like this, which is okay, but it's so much broader, guys. Like, and this is the thing. You learn something every day. John?
Yes.
Good morning. This is Chris Silva. How are you?
Good.
Did Tanya let you know I was going to reach out to you today?
Yes.
Yeah?
I thought it was at 1 o'clock.
At 1 o'clock?
No, this is fine.
Oh, okay. Are you sure I could give you a call later if that works better?
No, this is fine.
Awesome. How's your day going? How's your morning going?
Good.
That's good to hear. So she brought this deal to one of the team members. Let me know that a little background story. You've had this on the market right now for sale by
Yes.
owner. Yeah. And just correct me if I'm wrong. It's a triplex. It's a true triplex, or it's a duplex with the ADU in the back.
It's a duplex with an ADU in the back. Yes, it's a duplex with an ADU in the back.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you broke up. Okay. And from my understanding, you're selling this because you're moving out of town?
Correct.
Oh, okay. And let me, if you don't mind me asking, why don't you just turn it into a rental?
It is a rental. I have 2 units of it rented. I mean, I could rent the third unit out instead of using it for myself, but I don't have a need for it. And I would like to transfer my asset to something up here so that I could buy a primary home.
I see. So ideally is you want to use the funds from this property to go buy a house. Oklahoma, correct? Is that what I remember?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Is that where you're originally from, or?
No. I moved up here for schools.
Oh,
The
nice.
schools are nicer. They do a lot better for the kids.
Nice. How old are your kids?
9, 3, and 1.
Oh, nice. I have a 9-year-old as well. I was actually thinking that I wanted to start homeschooling her. That's kind of the goal. So that's good that you kind of made the move for your kids.
Yeah. Chris, what company do you work for?
I'm the owner of a company called My Investments Matter. We're based out of El Paso. We buy properties all across the country.
How does this deal work with you? I've worked with other investment companies in the past. I have a couple investment properties, and some of them I'm not so keen on, and some of them I am. So I just want to know how your deal works when you broker it.
Yeah, well, the idea is, so for me, is when I buy properties, I buy them, buy for the longevity of it. So I like to buy and hold properties. I'm not going to get rich in the front end. This is something that I look at over for the next 10 years, 10, 15 years. Now, there's times where I don't keep properties, fix and flips specifically, is I really try to stay away from the construction. For me, like I said, this is more of a longevity. So I'm not in it to just pick up this property and turn around and sell it for a profit. It's just more buy, hold it, and then build up the appreciation. And I also buy properties for tax depreciation. When I buy, sometimes I do buy them cash, just depending if the deal makes sense. However, I also have other ways of buying deals, just depending on what the seller's goals are. So that's why I kind of try to really identify what you're trying to accomplish to see how I could help you to create that win-win situation. That's kind of the biggest thing, is more just to add it to our portfolio.
Yeah, we worked with a company, New Western,
Oh my
before, and
goodness.
their project portfolio is, throw money at the problem, and then it's not good. They try to run it like an MLS auction house. I mean, come and view the property. You got 24 hours to view it, and then make your offers on it. And it's not the way I wanted to sell it. So
I've heard
I want to make
nightmares
sure
of that company, and they've
I
actually
want
tried
to
to
make
buy
sure you
my
weren't.
properties too.
Yeah, they reach out to all the for sale by owners. So I wanted to make sure you weren't working for them, because I would have saved you the time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's one thing that I want to make very clear is I'm not here to waste your time, and I'm not going to waste my time. It's just kind of figuring out and seeing what we could do to create that win-win situation. Now, there's not every time I'm necessarily the buyer. I might not be the buyer for this property, to be honest. However, it's just kind of going back to see what we could do to create that win-win situation. But yeah, as far as New Western, we don't, they're strictly wholesaling company, so they go lock up properties, and like you said, it's a auction, 24 hours, deposit $10,000.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But people,
So,
to each
yeah.
his own. So
Right.
let me ask you, why do you think this property hasn't sold, or like, what's the story? How long have you been trying to sell this? Do you have it with the realtors?
So we've only been soft on the market for 30 days. We're not hitting this property hard right now. It's because we have profit in it right now. I mean, I'm making profit on this house with just 2 units rented, and
Nice.
I'm using that third unit every other week, to come down. And I was still working on some of my assets and have family in town down there. But now we haven't really been down to use that third unit in like 6 weeks. We're just not using it. So we decided that we're ready to list it, but we've really been soft on the market. We have not been listing it hard on Zillow, and we haven't opened it up on some of the other markets, Spark and stuff like that we can do because we don't need to. We don't need to.
Yeah.
We have the time on it to really look for the right guy to come and purchase this property. We have some really good tenants in place. One of the tenants has been there for over 2 years. One of the tenants has been there for a couple months now, but they both really take care of the property. They pay on time, and I'm making money. So we soft listed it so that we could try to find the right person to broker the deal. Who's going to understand this is a money-making deal. The house does not comp out in the neighborhood because there are no triplexes in the neighborhood. In Cedar Park as a whole, you're not going to find anything on the market to comp. In the last 24 months, there's nothing on the market. So we don't want to go to market because we keep getting people coming to us and say, well, comps in the neighborhood are a little bit under what you're looking for. And we have to tell them comps in the neighborhood don't have an ADU in the back, period. There's not a single comp we found in the neighborhood with an ADU. So there is no comp. So don't come to us and say comps aren't there. Comp the house out and then do the ADU separate, and add the price of the ADU at 1% is $110,000. So fine, take comp the house and then take ADU rental potential by itself and add $110,000, and then you've comped out. But we don't want to fight with that deal. We're not in the mood to do it right now. We're not down there to do showings. So we've listed it, soft listed it, looking for the right buyer who understands the rental market, understands what a triplex means, and understands what the 1% rule is.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me ask you, are they separate meters?
No, so everybody shares utilities.
Okay. And are they splitting it, or you're taking care of that?
I'm taking care of it, and it's included in the lease.
Okay, nice.
Average utilities on that house is, $250 a month. It doesn't have any large expense.
And you said that it's already cash flowing for you, right?
Right.
So I'm assuming it's paid off?
No.
No, it's not.
I carry mortgage on my properties because it doesn't make sense not to.
There you go.
Even your investment properties, unless you got so much money that you need to hide it places, it doesn't make sense to lock up your money without a mortgage.
See, I try to explain this to so many people, and they don't get it. I'm like, it's tax-free money. What are you talking about, bro? Like, what do you mean? You don't like how much money is it? What are you winning from having something paid off?
Right. You buy a house with your cash, and then get a mortgage on it, and then you get your cash back in the bank, and you depreciate the mortgage the whole 30 years in the note. You're paying, even if you're paying 10% on your money, you're keeping it in the bank, you're depreciating it, you're not paying taxes on anything you're making. And the taxes are going to hit you. I told my wife, if we file our taxes and we don't depreciate this stuff properly, that they're going to hit us with a 40% tax rate because we're self-employed in real estate. And it's just, you got to work it with a mortgage. Anyways.
Is this what you do full-time? Is real estate kind of your guys' main gig?
We have a couple different avenues we work, so we like to diversify. That way, when we had tough times, 2020 was a rough real estate market, but we made it work. It worked really well for us. It was one of our highest profit years is 21 because we have a diverse method of going after stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And so I tell people, 2020 either made you or broke you. And for some people it did really good, and some people did really bad. And it's just all perspective, honestly. It's like, what are you gonna do when hard times come?
Yeah, this property's set up really nicely for profit. It's cash flowing, and it's got that empty unit to just come in and keep the leases on it for the next 12 months. They just renewed their leases in December and January, and then you're good on those to keep cash flowing and get that third unit rented. The house has been redone in the main house that has, it's a garage converted unit and a 3-bedroom unit. All the floors have been redone this year. The whole thing's been painted, getting ready for it to sell. So it's all in top rent, capability there.
Nice. Now, based on what you're saying, I know for you, it sounds like you guys are just more in it for the price. Like you guys have this certain amount that you guys are looking to net out. Would you say, the kind of like the biggest thing for you?
Yeah, well, the price, and looking for the right buyer who understands the property and understands how it's going to work for them, because there's a lot of people that there's a couple agents, we've reached out to real estate agents to come look at the property, and they just don't understand it because it's in a...
And it's funny that you say that, just because it really takes someone to be in real estate, like actually investing, to understand deals like this, because I've had properties like that. I'm just like, this is how an investor's going to make their money. But some people just don't get it. And if you get it, it's because you understand it, and you're living it. And if you don't get it, I mean, the chance of you getting it is, people aren't open to learning. That's another issue, but that's neither here nor there.
I mean, it's crazy. They think they work in a niche, and they want to use that term. And it's like, well, anybody who thinks they work in a niche and they're in real estate is out of their mind, because there's no such thing as a real estate niche. I sell ponds. Okay, dude, you sell ponds. Congratulations. It's not a niche. You sell real estate. And let's work on the real estate deal and broker it. Anyways.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So what I'm thinking, would you be open to any financing on this, as far as the equity, if I were to cash out your equity?
Yeah, we were open to seller financing. We would like a large amount down if we do the seller financing. We have 2 different options on the seller financing. You could do a lease to purchase, and a lease to purchase would take us, you could do a smaller amount down, and we could really work with the interest rate on it. Okay. And what a lease to purchase does is, it does for me, is my capital gains tax, I don't have to pay it until you actually decide to refinance the house in your own name, because I could take it as rental income, just like I've been taking it on my taxes for the past however many years, and then I can just, it's a lease to purchase, so you'll pay monthly. I can negotiate you a good down payment there and a better interest rate. If you want to do seller financing, go to the closing table with subject to loan, where I keep my current mortgage. You'll have to come, with a lot down. You'll have to come close to 50% down. And then we can go to the closing table. And that means that I can just take that 50%, which is basically where my capital gains is going to sit, and I can do my 1031 exchange. If you come to me with 10% down and you want to do an installment loan and go to the closing table, it's not going to work for me, because I'm gonna pay more money in taxes than I'm making on profit on the house, because I won't be able to do a 1031 exchange on the installment loan over the course of 5 years.
Let me ask you, what do you guys owe on the mortgage, and what rate are you at?
We owe $200,000, and we're at 3%.
Oh, that's phenomenal.
Right. I mean, so we can really work with you and offer some stuff for the right deal. But again, it's going to work out for me, because it's not just about the mortgage. It's about turning it into a primary home, doing the 1031 exchange. That way we can move the money and get another property up here where we can live.
So ideally, what is it that you guys are trying to net on this total net?
We're asking for $465. I can negotiate with you there on the price point and what deal you come to the table. But we're pretty hard at $450, and that's just because even at $450, it's well underneath the 1% rule, and you'll be cash flowing on this thing day one.
Okay, cool. What's your PITI on that 200?
What is that?
Your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance on the 200,000.
My monthly on it is it's about. I think it's like $1,800 a month.
Ideally, if we were to do subject to, what you're asking for is, so our net would be $250. If we were to do subject to, you want to at least do how much down on that off of the $250?
It'd be at least 200 down. You get close to that halfway. You're close to 50% down. You get that 200 down if we do the subject to, and then you'll finance $250.
No, well, because so if we're at $450,
right. Those are my terms. So as I'm telling you, if you want to do a subject to, you're going to pay 200 down.
So you would only finance 50 grand, is what you're saying, right?
No, 250, I said.
250. Oh, so it wouldn't be a subject to, because on the subject to, I'm talking like I'm going to take over that 3%, and then so I'm talking on the net is what
that's
is it?
That's an assumption. That's not a subject to. That's an assumption. If you're going to do an assumption, and just take over that one loan, I'm not going to offer that term to you. It doesn't offer anything for my liability in holding it. It doesn't do me anything So my terms is you're not going to get that 3% from me, unfortunately. I can get close to it, and I can offer you 6% if you do, close to that 50% down, 40% down, and I can get you 6% on the remaining 250, and I will be a second line holder on the mortgage.
Oh, so ideally you want to do like a wrap in a sense. You want to wrap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to do it. I'd rather do lease to purchase because that's where I can really you can hold this property for 5 years and then decide, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it into my name, or I got a good year and I've got to pay something off. So I'm gonna, 1 December, you're gonna come to me and say, hey, I need to move some money, so let me buy your property, and you're gonna refinance it in your name, and when that happens, I'll be able to take that cash right away and turn it in 1031, and the lease purchase is the best option for me. So I'm gonna give you the best.
Okay, what kind of terms are you thinking on that lease purchase?
On the lease purchase, I can go to 10% down. We'll save you a lot of money up front, and then I can give you 6% interest.
So we're at 450. It'd be 10%, 45. So 45. You would finance 450. That'd be 405 at a 6%. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me just pull up a mortgage calculator real quick.
Yeah, I'd rather you do it because I'm not in a position to do it.
No worries. No worries. So 405, you want to do 6%. They'll put us at 24.28. And then right now, what is it bringing in?
Currently, you're getting $27.50 a month.
27.
And that one unit is unrented. Comps put that unit at 2,000.
And then those tenants are on a year lease. Now, would you be open to doing something? Is kind of, if you were to, we wouldn't close on this until you got that other unit rented. I'd like to put in my own tenants, but just kind of seeing if that's something you'd be open to, or giving me time to fill it up, letting me get someone in there and then moving on it, just to kind of make sure we are able to hit that rent. Now, give or take a little less, a little bit more. I mean, somewhere around that ballpark.
I'm not sure that that's something I'd be interested in right now.
Okay.
Just because I have other people interested in the property and putting, more work into it, going down there doing the showings, because I really do my rental units from distance. I actually vet my tenants, and I make sure that I'm there for the showings. I make sure I answer all their questions. I make sure that they're not trying to pull any sly stuff, because the ADU, we specifically have the ADU as a one-person rental. We don't allow to have more than one person back there. It really saves us having a lot of issues with one person, and we vet the person to let them know that that's going to be one-person rental. It's a very strict rule for it to be a one-person rental. So anyways, I would put some time into it if I was going to rent out that other unit, and I just don't have that time to put into it. I'm not being in Texas right now. Okay. So it's just not an option that I would exercise. I'm not going to say, yeah, we're under contract and hold the house up for all the other investors who are looking at it, because I have about 4 other people that are running numbers on it right now.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. And as far as expenses, what do those look like again, total monthly?
About $250 a month. The electric bill's $175 average. The water bill is about $25, and the gas it's not gas. The trash is $95 every 3 months.
And that's a low water bill.
Yeah, so it's not in the city.
Okay.
So they only supply water, and because they don't supply trash, they have a lower water bill.
Have you ever had all 3 of them rented or occupied at once?
We've had all 3 of them occupied. We had that 3rd unit we used for us, and there was a time that my in-laws were using it, so they were there. My kids were there twice a week with them, and there was a time that we were using it. Before we had the baby, there was 4 of us in that 3-bedroom.
Okay, and how did those bills fluctuate? Were they much higher?
They didn't. The house is really efficient, so that's what they are. They've been like that for the past 10 years. I haven't had very much fluctuation in those bills. I've had that house since 2015.
Okay.
And with or without the units rented, the house runs with those bills. There hasn't been a single tenant that's been in those houses and has caused any change to those bills.
Okay, cool.
They go up a little bit in the winter time for heat, because it's electric heat. So you'll see a little bit of spike, but I still think electric heat's better than gas because I start working with somebody's houses with gas, and you're getting $300 bills in the winter. The electric bill goes up about $50. It goes up to $225 or $250 in the winter.
Now, anything major as far as on the property, condition wise, that you're aware of
No,
or that you wanted to do?
we just went through it all and made sure it was all ready to rent, ready to sell, depending on what our option was.
And ideally, if we're able to come up with something around those terms, this is something that you want to move on pretty quickly.
Yeah, we've got some options for you there, whatever you decide to go with, and we're ready, to do a 7-day close. If you want to do a 7-day close, you want to do it a lease to purchase, we can do that whenever you're ready.
Yeah. So let me ask you this on the going back to the wrap. What kind of interest could you do on there if I were to come in with the 200 down? What can you do on the 250? You want to do 6?
6% where we're at. Yeah.
Are you pretty firm on that?
Yeah, those are my best rates, man.
Yeah. Okay.
If you want to try to beat those rates, you're gonna come to the table with a VA loan and perfect credit. I mean, I wish you luck. And it's just that little bit to protect my liability. It gives me, the best option for me is you go out and go get your own loan and you buy the house.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I want. But if you want to use some of our options, I'm going to be carrying some liability there, and there may be a time where I have to cover the insurance on the property. If you get it, don't cover it. That's where I've got to carry some liability. I'm going to take 6%.
Let me just kind of underwrite it a little bit more, and then we could touch base later on this evening. Does that work, or probably tomorrow morning?
Yeah, that'd be fine. Just shoot me a text message before you call, so I know that you're calling. Otherwise, I'm not likely to answer.
Yeah, for sure. And what I'll do is I'll actually text you right now with my information. Again, my name's Chris Silva, so that way you could save my number. And then let me ask you, is there any other markets that you're looking to buy in right now, or is it just Oklahoma you're looking for a primary?
It's really just Oklahoma. I like the process of being able to sell these houses and buy something cash right now. So I'm really in the startup of this. Okay. I have a couple properties, but I want to start working some cash deals. And then, and there's not really a market outside of Oklahoma where I see that being potential right now. We looked, we did a lot of time looking around. We don't like big cities. They just get congested. It gets to be difficult to work one side to the other. So we ruled out all the big cities, and then we started going to the small cities. There's really not a great area right now. When I moved to Austin 10 years ago, the market was hot. You could go in there, you could buy a house, you could mortgage it day one with 100% zero down mortgage, and you could rent it out for $200 cash flow a month. But that market doesn't exist right now in my eyes.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. The only way is creating that market, like on the subject twos and stuff like that. But yeah, that requires a lot more work.
Right. So we're looking at doing some cash deals. We're also looking at using the 1031 exchange to roll cash from some of our rentals into our primary home, so we can finally move up in life. We've been living in rentals. Basically, there are rentals, but our method has been to move in, fix, and don't flip but rent. And our method has been that before it was popular. Yeah. And now it's popular, so now it's even harder. But we would buy houses that needed some lipstick, and then we'd put the lipstick on and get them rent ready, and then we'd move to the next one. So we've done that for the past 10 years and built us up 4 houses. And now we're ready to buy a house that we don't have to work on.
That's so awesome, because I just feel like a lot of people want to get into this game and don't understand that. Do not understand the delayed gratification. They want the instant gratification. They want the big house now. They want this now. And the fact that you're able to share that, I mean, I appreciate that, because I always try to preach this to everybody. It's just like you move in, and I remember I did that when I got into the Airbnb game. It's like I would move into Airbnbs and fix them up, because I did experiences. I did like a Star Wars house, Toy Story house, and all that good stuff, and we'd fix it up, and then we'd move to the next one, and then we'd move to the next one.
Hey, this property offers you great potential for that third unit to be an Airbnb. If you come in and furnish that third unit, right now I've seen a lot of option for travel nurses to rent it, and which is another option to go if you furnish it And if you've done Airbnbs before, the Austin market's always good for Airbnb.
Yeah, for sure. And that unit's the ADU, right? That's the 1 bed, 1 bath.
No, so if the unrented unit right now is the 3 bedroom,
Oh, that's
2
a
bath.
3 bed. Okay. That's
Yeah.
what I was wondering. I was like, the 2,000 seems kind of high, but no, it makes sense.
No,
Okay.
we're getting 1,100 on the ADU.
Okay.
And we're getting 1,650 on the garage unit, which is it's really a 1 bedroom, 1 bath. The person who's using it now has converted an office space to be a 2 bedroom, 1 bath. I sent over a video to your assistant there, so you could see the video of the main house when you walk in, and it connects to the garage unit, so you could see that video was taken just a couple months ago.
Okay, perfect. I'll take a look at that. And I wanted to ask you real quick, going back to what we're talking about, Oklahoma. What cities are you what are you attacking in there, or where do you see the potential there?
Yeah, I don't know if I want to share that much. I don't want competition.
No, there's no competition. There's no such thing as competition. You're your own competition.
Right. So what I see in Oklahoma is multiple avenues. Number one, people are going to go back to school. The schools have taken a really big hit in 2020, and for 4 years, a lot of the rental markets around the schools have fluctuated. And some of the neighborhoods around these big schools, and this could work not just in Oklahoma City, but a lot of the neighborhoods in the big schools, those small unit rentals that are, the 1940s house that was converted into 9 bedrooms, they didn't make it through some of these 4 years of unrented space.
Mm-hmm.
Kids are going to start going back to school this year, especially this fall. So anything around a big college campus is going to be a winning market, I think. And then just by price point, we're not making a ton of money in Oklahoma on our properties like we were in the past. Like, we're making a lot of money in Austin, but we're more focused on a buy and hold right now because the interest rates are so high, and the market is steadily increasing. Just in the last year, the market has increased in Oklahoma from an average of 250 to an average of 300, and that's 50,000 in equity in 12 months. Is pretty good.
And just wait till those interest rates come back down. I mean, supply and demand.
Right.
Supply and demand is just gonna.
Well, look at the markets right now. What market is growing? I haven't seen one outside of Oklahoma that's actually growing. I mean, a lot of markets are stalling, and they're not getting higher price points. They're getting lower price points. But here we've seen the equity rise over the past 12 months, and we like that. So it's a good long-term hold for us. And in a couple of years, interest rates maybe go down. I don't anticipate interest rates going down for the next 5 years.
Same.
They just might not.
Same.
I mean, in 2010, I bought my first house, and interest rates had just bounced out of a 2005 thing, and the market started peaking in 2005 or 2010 when I bought. My parents had interest rates in 2005 that I didn't think were possible, 3.5, 4, and they went up, and interest rates didn't come back down from 2010 to 2000, and it was close to 2015, 2016, they started making a downward trend again. Anyways, market rates, I don't anticipate them to come down, and they will never, I'll be damn sure surprised if I'm wrong, they will never go below 3% again our lifetime. I just don't.
I couldn't agree with you anymore. I mean,
I don't believe that the Fed is going to allow that to happen, no matter what the housing crisis is. I think that they shot their shot with 3%, and I don't think anybody's going to be. There was a very unique superstorm in the housing market, 2020, that caused those interest rates. A lot of investors are trying to get out of the game because of the rent moratoriums. A lot of people who had their nest egg were trying to get out of the cities and uniquely jumping into any property to buy it, to get out of these big cities. It was just a very unique superstorm. Real estate caused that 3%. We're not going below 3 again. It's just not going to happen. Anyways, you could buy for the interest rate, but there's going to be a lot of foreclosures in that 5 to 10 year mark because these interest rates are people are buying them saying we can refinance. They don't understand you're not going to be refinance to 7%. You're not. You're going to pay $15,000 in closing to refinance after 2 years to get it down to 6% or 5.5%, but then they're going to wrap that back into your loan.
I was about to say, just to restart the loan over.
Yeah, it's going to cost you the same amount of money. I refinanced when the rates went below 3 because that was the rate I saved 3% per year.
Guys, notice how I always say this. Like, you can get somebody to just start talking. You got to find their language. And I could literally just let him go on.
Taxes last year hit everybody and really messed up the system because the tax values all doubled over 21.
Especially here in Texas and well, here in El Paso specifically. I mean, you saw taxes just go through the roof.
Yeah, I think all of Texas almost doubled their taxes on investment properties.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy, but we were able to fight them, get it back down, and get everything back where it needs to be on our investment properties. But I do see some good investment in Oklahoma City just because of the upward trend. I don't see upward trend on market price anywhere else. Austin was selling new homes for $500,000. Now Austin's selling new homes for $450,000. They didn't go up. They went down.
They went down.
Here there's some new build communities you could buy in the 200s. You could buy a brand new house, and then you got a 1-year warranty on it. You can carry your home warranty loans and stuff like that, and then you can jump right into the rental market. But you're not gonna make 1%.
Yeah, for sure. Like they
You
say,
gotta look at that.
I was even looking at between 1979 and 1981 when interest rates went from like 9% all the way to 18% in a matter of 2 years, and they didn't come back down to several years later. And it's just like I really believe history repeats itself, and we're living in that time. And
yeah, I do think they're going to do their best to control it this time and not get it up to 15. But I see rates going up to 12%. I do. I mean,
I was saying 10%, but I don't doubt it, honestly.
Yeah, and it's really just a matter of the fact that inflation is a part of that.
Huge part.
But it's so dumb because the housing crisis caused the inflation, and now the housing market has to fight the inflation. And now the inflation is rebounding in other markets, so the housing market has caused another inflation. It doesn't make sense, but it does. Like, it sucks. Housing market, all housing prices went up, and some of the farms sold because the price of land went up so high. You know, price of land went from $5,000 an acre to close to $50,000 an acre in some markets. Man, those prices jumped sky high, but then these farmers sold to put more pressure on the other farmers. Then you have an event like happened by you guys in Wheeler. The farms all went to burn town, and the fire took out a lot of crop.
But think about how like it plays a domino effect into our everyday life. Like now, even with food, you know, and you look at these food prices, and it's just like just kind of all just circles.
Chicken went from like $0.25 a pound to $2 a pound. It's huge.
But did you see what Chick-fil-A is also just doing? I was reading an article yesterday that they're getting rid of like their chicken, or they're changing their chicken because I mean, the shortage and just, I don't even think it's a shortage. It's just more like the price point, you know? It's everything.
Yeah. So talking about the restaurant industry for years, my dad was in the restaurant industry, and he was so close to it that he never saw that there was big problems in it. My dad went out to eat last week and started complaining. He's from the restaurant industry, worked 25 years in the business, and he goes out to eat and starts complaining about a $20 burger. I told him, you got to be shitting me, right? You got to be shitting me. 10 years ago, you would have been complaining that you can't make but $1 every time you sell a burger. And now you're complaining about $20 burgers. Restaurant industries have historically kept prices. They've had to, because it's always been cheaper to eat at home. And every time a restaurant raises something by $1, they lose revenue because people stop going out to eat. But the restaurant industry has historically kept prices low. You know, it's always been, in my lifetime, $10 to $15. You go out to eat a plate of food, $10 to $15. But that's in the past 15 years. That number hasn't changed. It's not like I used to be able to go out and get a meal for $7.50. And now that number's gone from 10 to 15 to 15 to 20. So it raised by $5. Inflation in every other market in the past 15 years has doubled. But restaurants try to go up 25%, and everybody raises the shit alarm.
Yeah, everyone goes. And it is just
okay.
It's the craziest thing, because this is just, I mean, it goes back to show like how uneducated our people are, though, like just in general. And this is what they want us to live. This is the way they want us to live, in this bubble.
Yeah, it's crazy, and most people don't get it. Even that's what my dad didn't get it. Like, you don't understand the restaurant having to raise 25% of cost after years of keeping it low. I mean, their overhead went up over the last 15 years. Their cost of supplies went up for the last 15 years, and they've just got to get better at making it work. That doesn't work for anybody. So now restaurants in all main cities are closing down. I have seen an epidemic in the restaurant industry of restaurants closing their doors and turning into nail salons or shopping malls or vacant homes or spirit Halloweens.
Spirit Halloweens. Oh my goodness.
No, big one is the urgent cares that
The
take over
urgent
old
cares.
restaurant space.
Yeah.
It popped up all over the place because they make more money at an urgent care with no patient than they make at a restaurant with 100 customers. There's a big epidemic in the restaurant industry that needs to change. Fast food is the only ones making it, and even them, we saw Fuddruckers close their doors in 2020. We saw other fast food restaurants leave cities. Impossible to find a Jack in the Box now. Long John Silver's and A&W's are scattered slightly across the nation. It just doesn't exist. You see a lot more Brahms because they market grocery and food and ice cream. So they had to diversify their market to make money. Right. So these restaurants, they're just closing. I mean, we go through cities all the time. We're like, where can we eat? They're like, oh, there's one Mexican place. Where's the rest of it? I mean, I remember going out to eat was the main thing. I mean, Red Robin's, Applebee's. You go out to the local diners. Diners don't exist.
I was about to say diners don't even exist no more. It's hard to find a diner.
They just can't compete with the prices, and everybody gets pissed off when they try to match pricing to what they're paying. Anyways, we could talk about a lot of different things.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, hey, I appreciate
the
the
markets
talk,
are crazy.
Yeah.
Everything's rebounding against each other right now, and stability's still pretty far off.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you anymore. I couldn't agree with you. My man, I hope that we're able to get this done. And even if we're not, I hope in the future we're able to do something together. I'm definitely going to look at this. And out there in Oklahoma, I wish you and your family best of luck. And if there's ever anything that comes across me or comes across my desk or something I think you guys might like or see an opportunity, I mean, for me, I'm always looking to do business with other people because that's the only way we're able to grow. Yeah,
we can fight the middleman and the bank loans and all that, do a little bit better for each other. Thanks, Chris.
I appreciate you. You have an amazing day, all right?